I am Reverend David Lambe of the New Testament Church of God Heritage Worship Center in Bermuda. One day I was in church service preaching the word, and when worship was going on, there was this couple down the back, and they stood out because they were lighter than us. And what I like about this couple is that they were praising God. I didn't know where they were coming from or where they came from. So after service, they came up and I met them. And Bob was a real robust little fella, big fella. And we talked to him for a while, and he said he was a guitar player. And we started talking about music and about God. Bob was a person who I admired because he was not afraid to come to the altar and get prayed for, or even worship God amongst the saints. After a while, we got involved with knowing Bob here and there, and he asked, can he bring his guitar and play on the worship team? I said, sure. And he brought his guitar, and Bob loved his guitar. If anything that Bob loved is when he played music for the glory of God. He came to see me in a private setting one day, and he was sort of bewildered because he was playing in a rock group on an island somewhere, on a little island, and he was disturbed by the type of music he was playing with that guitar, and he wanted to use that same guitar to come and play in the church. And I said, Bob, it's okay, it's fine, God knows what you're doing, but if you really want to do something, just take that guitar and sanctify it for the use of God. And Bob lit up like a Christmas tree, like, yeah, I can do that? I said, yeah, Bob, you can do that. And Bob came, he took that guitar, and I'm believing every time he came in the church, he would hold that guitar before the Lord, pray over it, and then just worship God with his guitar playing. Bob was also a character. You know, one day I came and he had a mohawk cut, and I was like, eh. So I'm trying to figure out where Bob's coming from. But he was the same old person. When he had the mohawk cut, you know, he'd come out with another shaving, but he was a very real individual. He loved God, he loved his music, he loved playing, and one thing that I recognized with Bob, he was real. He had his faults, and I got to know Bob where he confided in me. He told me a lot what was going on with him when he went on trips, when he would be playing music, and we had a real discussion in his last days. And on his bed of rest or getting ready to go home to meet the Lord, he shared some intimate things with us. And he wanted to know that, how do I deal with this? How do I get this off my back? And so we talked to him about the forgiveness of Jesus Christ. That God doesn't hold anything. Once you ask for forgiveness and Jesus Christ's blood washes you, all your sins, all your hang-ups, all who you are washed away. And all that, we ministered to him for a good while. But the one thing that came to a full circle, when I met Bob, he said that the precious thing to me is my guitar. But when Bob left us, he said the precious thing more to him is Michelle. He loved Michelle. And that was so precious to Michelle that she don't even know how much precious she was to him. And so Bob loved his music, and he always played his music, but the more thing that he loved most was his wife, Michelle. And so I love Bob, and I'm really believing that he's having a glorious time up there in heaven, and that he's happy where he is. And I'm looking for that day that when this time comes that we can meet up with him again. And so Bob, continue on being Bob. And so all that's here on earth who knew him, we have fond memories of him, but we recognize that when we leave this place, there's another place we want to go, and one of those places to go and meet with our friends in heaven. God bless you all.